I know I'm a little bit behind on this, I know it's been a few days, but I've got to make a video on this anyway. So, for anyone that doesn't know, there's a lot going on with EA at the moment, and it is specifically connected to Foot Champs, which is meant to be their most competitive mode, and it brings up the old question of scripting / DDA. Because a lot of people think that EA have finally been exposed, it's finally been proven that there is scripting or DDA in the game, and I keep using those two words separately because they are a little bit different, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. But we've got some evidence to look at, and I will be showing you that, and I'll explain what I think is going on here. So, if you want to find out if scripting is real, if DDA is real, carry on watching the video. So before we kind of move on, we need a bit of context about what dynamic difficulty adjustment, which is obviously DDA, is, and what scripting is as well, because they're used interchangeably and they're not the same. Scripting is EA deciding who wins the game before the game even happens. That's when you load in, it goes, this player is going to win, this player is going to lose, or we're going to definitely make it a draw, or something like that. I don't think that's in the game, personally. Maybe in career mode sometimes. If you quick sim, there is certainly scripting, but that's not the same. That is not the same as you controlling the players and it making you lose. Dynamic difficulty adjustment is when they do something kind of like rubber banding. If any of you know what that is, it's to try and stop people getting too far behind. A good example of rubber banding is Mario Kart, actually. If you get too far behind in Mario Kart, they give you better items to make you better, don't they? They give you Bullet Bill, or they give you the Lightning Strike, or just something like that to try and stop you getting too far behind and to try and keep you playing the game. And for EA, there is interest in DDA, certainly. It would make sense for them to do it, because if you were losing every game 15-0, you'd stop playing. But if you were maybe 1 or 2 goals down, you still had a little bit of hope, you were feeling like you were starting to play better because maybe the game was helping you, then you'd stay in, wouldn't you? So there is kind of a reason that DDA would be a thing, and this has always been brought up in the past. There was a lawsuit where people said that DDA had been patented by EA, so they must be using it in Ultimate Team. It didn't come to anything. It was, I don't even know if it was proven that EA didn't do it. I think it was settled out of court. I'm going to have a video that is featuring that and a lot more EA conspiracy soon, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But it kind of went nowhere, and these rumours, these accusations, they never go away, and it's going to be even worse now. And a lot of you, if you haven't seen it, if you're not that active on Twitter, you might not have done, is your question is going to be, what is going on here? And in Champs, there's been a glitch since the latest title update, and I'll show you a few videos now whilst I talk over them, where you score a goal, and then when you go off the goal, when you go back into the game and kickoff happens, you get a notification in the corner saying that the difficulty of the AI has been changed. And this is a thing in the game, I believe, when you play kickoff. I'm not familiar with it, I haven't seen it at any point, but I think when you play the game for the first time in kickoff, it does that to try and like tell you what difficulty you should be playing at. But there's no reason for this to be a thing in Champs. A lot of people are saying it's a visual glitch, and it could be a visual glitch, but it shouldn't be in the code in the first place for that to be able to come up on Foot Champs, because you're not playing against the AI, you're playing against an actual person. So if it's a visual glitch, something has gone really wrong. I'm of the opinion that this is actually a thing, and they have finally ruined it. And people are going to say, that's a skill issue. You're saying that because you're bad, or something like that. No, DDA is a thing when you win as well. And I think that DDA, not scripting, is definitely in the game. Scripting, no way. Pro events wouldn't be able to happen with scripting and stuff like that. But it is very rare you absolutely smack someone in this game. Even when you're absolutely peppering their goal, if you get to about 3-0, your players tend to stop scoring as easily. And that is definitely something that can be noticed. And I think the easiest way to see this is in the defence. Defence tends to be a lot better. You'll play against someone, go like 4-0 up, and maybe they'll put their controller down, and they'll be better when they're not controlling any players. Like, how does that even make sense? If you get someone that's awful, I remember I played against someone yesterday who had literally a super team. If they're spamming tackle, it has to listen to them, it has to do something, they'll get out of the way. But if you're doing nothing, like Van Dijk will get in the way and start blocking stuff, it's really, really strange, and that's been a thing for a few years. So that kind of is something that really sways me towards it being a thing. Not the attacking as much, but the defensive side of it, where the goalies can get better and worse, the defenders tend to block better and worse, and then there's the 44th and 90th minute things, which I think maybe are a bit of a thing, because obviously morale used to be a thing. If you don't know about that, again, a video coming soon. But more than that, I think that is kind of in people's heads, because they might panic, they might start playing a little less risky, or they might get a little bit more uptight when they are towards injury time in the first half, and especially towards full time. So I'm not too sure about that, but I do think there's a good basis here and a good case for DDA actually being in the game, because I know I said it earlier, it just doesn't make sense to me for this to be an Ultimate Team. If it's just designed for kickoff, how did it get into Ultimate Team in the first place? It shouldn't be there. In squad battles, obviously, it's not a thing. In pro clubs, the AI is notoriously bad in pro clubs. Maybe it should be a thing in pro clubs. It's not. It's only been coming up in Ultimate Team, and it seems to be mainly in Champs. I don't think I've seen it in Rivals. You can correct me on that if you know more about it. But either way, this is a bad look for EA. The fact that this has got into the code and it's a thing in the first place is really bad. If it's a visual glitch, as I said earlier, really poor from them. It shouldn't be there in the first place. If it's not a visual glitch, they are in big trouble, because this is an esports game and you can't really have that going on. As I said, am of the opinion it is true, but I want you guys to let me know what you think down below. This has been a really quick video, but it's just something I wanted to cover and talk about, because I've done videos about this kind of thing before, and it is an interesting topic for me. The debate will continue raging on. This is not definitive proof that it is a thing, and if EA say it isn't a thing, I don't think you can believe me either at this point. I'm of the outlook that it is a thing, but I don't think you have to pick a side and just ignore what other people think. I think there's a debate to be had here, and I will let you have that in the comments. I just think, especially on Twitter, it is Twitter, like, people get overly defensive about their points and people just refuse to listen to what other people are saying. But I think there is a debate to be had here, as I said. So that's going to be all from me in this video, guys. A bit of a different one, a really unorganised one, so I apologise for that, but I wanted to make this video and I've had to kind of do it on the spot so that I've got the time to edit it and everything like that. But yeah, that's all, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.